Greetings, fellow builders. Rhadamant here. Thank you for tuning in to ASKA. Episode 21, Building Another Longhouse. So, taking a look at our bedrooms. The Longhouse is now at a whopping 191. So, just about close to maxed. So, let's see. We'll do maybe a small garden here. And then a small garden here. And that will kick it all the way up to 100%. Or 200%. Okay. Well, that was a quick project. I think what I'll do is I'll add some additional roads. I'll make sure that we have the roads done as well, because I'm definitely missing a lot of potential roads, and then pull you guys again. So this is for after I add some roads, the project above the new pole. All right, some of the other roads that we could use, I wouldn't mind. So probably there's going to be a longhouse here at some point, meaning that the next longhouse I want to build will be over here. And then once that longhouse is built, I'll demolish this cottage and then have like another longhouse here with a road that goes all the way out to the barracks. Also, why are you standing around? Did you break your thing? Maybe it's a new requirement. Last I played, it was fine for your people to have a one-hander and train a one-hander, but it seems now that that isn't the case, that Azaroon will not train without a two-hander, which... Can anyone confirm or deny that to be a thing? But regardless, our longhouse, ooh, 195. So not quite all the way to 100%, but pretty damn close. I think what I'll do is I'll just put some more... Yeah, I did maybe furniture inside. Although the one problem with the room separators, it's not the right size for the longhouses. As you can see, it like doesn't fit right. And most of the other things you can put in here are not a net benefit because they take up room. So maybe I won't do that. Check their weapon type in the barracks. Oh, yeah, they were set to bruiser. Let's do warrior, sword and sword. You need a one-handed weapon? But you got one. Maybe that's not counting as a weapon. So it seems like I need to make a pick for Brazit and like a sword for Azaroon. So what I'll do is I'm going to have you guys decide what kind of structure you want me to build while I make the required metallurgy stuff. So what do you want me to upgrade or build? So upgrade hunting from 1 to 2, bloomery from 1 to 2, cooking from 1 to 2, a new longhouse, a forester, barracks from 1 to 2, or new archery. The choice is yours. And I do owe a few more roads, as I promised. I haven't forgotten about that. So we got that road. Let's go ahead and hook this road up like that. And then you guys have a bit tied. Maybe I'll queue up both the Longhouse and the Bloomery. So I'm going to start flattening out the space for Longhouse. The problem is there is a potential well here that I might not want destroyed. So I think what I'm going to do is turn this into a well and then try to build the Longhouse around it. So that the, so that we end up with well proximity, which is a good morale bonus for housing anyway. So I'll manage to wedge in a Longhouse around this thing. See what I can do. But having more sources of water is always a nice thing. And it looks like Bloomery has pulled up a little ahead. But, I think I'll queue up both. So build a tier 2 Bloomery and new Longhouse. When should the wall be started? Before the invasion? Too many factors to say. It really depends on how many free builders we have, how available resources, how large the footprint is. But don't worry about it. If I'm not worried about it, you shouldn't worry about it. We have plenty of time. I know that's a non-answer, but we're not close to needing that. I'm assuming this knife was the draw knife. I have one processed bloom and plenty of metal to do another batch. I'm just going to settle for a 5. So this building will be upgraded, but I wanted to make a batch beforehand, before queuing up the upgrade, so that I can make a pick for our miner, or stone miner, and a sword for our fighter. You're the demon on my shoulder saying that I should do 6. Well, here's the thing, is once the Bloomery is upgraded, we'll be doing like 8s. I'm not too worried about maxing it out now. It will get even better soon. But the speed at which you can smelt 5 is faster than you can smelt 6 by like a fair margin. So it might actually be time efficient to go for 5s. Because you save 30%, 30 to 40% fuel, and it goes 30 to 40% faster. So I don't even know if it's time efficient to go for the full 6. Unless you're using like a metal hammer. Or a wooden hammer, where you only want to do so many hammer strikes. We're missing meat? I'll check on that. We replaced the hunter, though. So it just might be the fact that the new hunter's not as capable. But we definitely do have a hunter. So there's the new Bloomery. And it would make sense for... Before I start metalworking some more, I think I want to cart deliver a lot of these materials. Because I'll do it faster. So we'll start with the long sticks. which I don't have many of. It's not storage. Are these? Oh, these are all hardwood. Dang. They shouldn't be hardwood up this way, though. So 11 of those bad boys. I probably still have them in the warehouse, yeah. The thing is, the long sticks that are up here are just, like, being ignored. So, it doesn't hurt for me to collect from the wild, because I can do it faster and more efficiently than the NPCs can. Because they don't have a concept of, like, what sticks are decaying. How much more room do I have? 3 more spots. Well, obviously, yeah, you can pull from whatever stockpile you want. I just figure I can pull from the forest like this and then not compete for the same resources they might be going after. So once I deliver these long sticks, I'm going to make 2 nails, 2 batches of nails, and then the sword blade for Azaroon. Because I don't think Azaroon's been training, because they must have patched something. Back when I was like learning to play this game, you could use the woodcutting axe as a weapon for your militia, but now it seems like Azaroon doesn't acknowledge that as like a valid weapon. So I'll make the appropriate changes. Oh, come on. Oh my god. I need to be looking at the... Here, I'll just move it. I need to be looking at the yellow parts, or otherwise it thinks I'm trying to interact with the bloomerine, which I am not. So 10 planks, 5 posts. Wonder why the woodcutter deforests so much? So the reason is its priority. The woodcutter is higher prioritized for logs and stuff, and lower priority for everything else. So what's happening here is that they are trying to cut down just like logs or something. They're getting like one specific thing from a tree and then leaving everything else. And if I change their priorities, that would get fixed. I can save my builders a lot of time and effort by just carting the stuff over. Alright, I saved them enough time already. Ooh, firekeeping leveling up. Fancy that. I think meat supply is fine. We got a rack full of meat. And 37 meat in storage. Yeah, no, the hunter's totally non-issue. Well supplied. We're good. I appreciate the warning, but yeah, it's not a problem. We do have... Oh, that's the metal plate that I made that I'm not using. Alright, so small iron blade. Which doesn't look so small to me. It's funny, once you're done smelting it, it like shrinks like crazy. Because this thing looks like a long sword or like a bastard sword nearly. It's massive. And then you quench it. Actually, that doesn't look so small. And then in this case, I'll do 3 nails. Because I'm sure I'll use nails at some point. Ow. Splinters. And for the sword, which will be going for Azaroon, we just need to pick up some leather scraps. I was just move a whole bunch of them in the crafting bench, so I don't have to grab them every time. I should probably hand up this part to him. That was the whole point. And this is where the other longhouse is going to attempt to go. I'm sort of curious if it will fit. It probably won't. Oh, no, it will. I could wedge it in there. I kind of like that. So let's flatten out the ground there a little bit more. Around where the well is. And then sort of nest it in that spot. I won't do any of the terraforming myself because I'm terrified of falling through the earth. So Bloomer only needs some wooden shafts and planks. Let's grab the cart and get the planks. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I've got the planks. Yeah, I've got planks in here. Oh god, so many. Our carpenter. What is a smuggler doing in our village? Squeeze me? Get the hell out. Like, what? Sword isn't delivered yet, but they're asleep. I think it's early in the morning. Okay, so now all that we need is shafts. I think they just broke their draw knife. Did you? Yeah, but where's your knife blade? Did you drop it on the ground? Every now and then they just like will drop their draw knife on the ground, and then you have to wait for like a random person to pick up the draw knife that broke to get it delivered to the broken metal tools storage. Very strange, but I'm not exactly sure where the draw knife is. Azrune, are you waiting to train? You are not. Sapo, did you just close the door on my face? Where is Azrune? So another thing that you could do if you're missing someone is you can put them on your minimap HUD. So Azrune was in the toilet. They do not need a weapon. So I made one anyway, so I'm going to give them this sword. But as you may have noticed, they didn't have any demand for it. So I guess they were using the axe. Meaning that this axe can then be... Oop, that one's full. There's a draw knife right there! What are you... Stupid frickin' NPCs. Meaning that, yeah, we don't really need to make a draw knife for them or anything. Wow, my woodcutters are... I'm gonna change the priority. So they start collecting sticks and bark and stuff, because we have... Our forests have been demolished. Oh, no one's even assigned to that. I haven't forgotten about your pick, but we haven't needed stone in a while, so you're just gonna have to keep waiting. Erase our carpenter. No, you bastard! I mean, he's literally working on the same thing I am, so, like, I guess that's nice. Yoink! Pull it right out of your hands and deliver it myself. So the bloomery is all set, and then the ground for the longhouse should be all set in a second. So here's the tier 2 bloomery, which can hold more fuel and more stuff, meaning that it is, it's, you know, obviously better at smelting. And then the other one was the longhouse. And I'll probably be doing a lot of the delivery for that myself. But we have flattened a knife spot for it, so here we go. Wow. Twinsies. You know what? That's fine. I like it. I'll just create a forking path for it, and I think it's going to look pretty nice once it's done. One thing I kind of wish you could do is, like, break a tool. Because, like, my hammer is obviously about to break. And I would love to have it actually fully break, so that I could just fix it. Rather than to have to wait for it to fully deplete. Just, you know, to reshaft it or whatever. Hope the roof doesn't clip into the other house. I mean, no one is up at that Z level. Up at that elevation, so, like, I don't care if it does or not. An original one is at 198, so 200's the max. All we would need is like one little decoration, it would be maxed. Alright, so let's get the posts, planks, and stone delivered. And it's probably going to be easiest if I have stamina buff. Reset the farm for food again? You know, truth be told, I'll probably end up making a lot of heavy linen stuff before next winter. So I probably still want the flax. I know I haven't actually been doing a lot of the clothing making, but there's still going to be an immense need for flax because the amount of flax that goes into even a full set of clothing is like hundreds. You saw nothing. I don't know. That's one way to pull a cart. Yeah, I did a cartwheel. But sorry, not sorry. We're out of stone here. I might need to actually do your pick now, because, boo! Don't boo me, you liked it. Pun slut. That's right. You're my pun slut. I don't know what that is, but you are now. Wow. Having a carpenter cut the pieces for us is making... Because, I don't know, I mean, if you guys were here for the first longhouse we made, it was slow. And this longhouse is getting... Oh, you know what? I should not have those in there. This longhouse is getting thrown together at, like, 10 times the speed of the last one. So I am not having to piecemeal make all the posts and beams and all that. It's so nice. It's life-changing. Poor miner. I know. I'll make him a pick soon. Now that we have an improved bloomery, it's going to be a lot easier, because being able to make 8 in a bloom means that I can have like 2 iron tools in one batch, whereas before it was only 1 and change. Oh, I should have grabbed beams. Do I have beam storage in here? Planks, planks. So one of the issues... No, I don't have any beams. One of the issues that you'll end up running into when you're using a stockhouse for supplies is you might end up in a situation, and this is the situation I'm in, where I need a lot more beams than I need planks, but they've just been stockpiling planks like crazy. So you'll have to adjust. So one way to do that is to have like this one, for instance, only be planks, and then this one only be posts, and that way, once the stockpile's filled up, the carpenter will stop stocking that thing. And that's not what I've been doing, but I really should. So I'm gonna fix that right now so that we don't continue running into this issue. So this one is only for posts. And this one is only for planks. So now they can't just both be 100% planks, which is what was kind of happening. And then I don't have a place for beams, which I'll need to add. So I'll do that now. And that would be... what storage would that be? Long carpentry materials. Oh god, it's the... Doesn't exactly fit, but whatever. As long as it's being stored in here. Okay, so we'll get those for planks and for... Actually, I only need one, because the other carpentry material is, shafts. I don't know if you store shafts in here, so I'm gonna, only build the one and see if it stores shafts. I forget off the top of my head whether it does or not. So let's go ahead and finally get a pick for that poor bastard who's been waiting for one for like a year. But it doesn't make much sense to, make a batch of iron in the new bloomery without actually using the full power of the bloomery, so... gotta get a little bit more metal. This is a good... if you need a lot of large stone, bring in your cart down here is obviously pretty handy, because your iron mine will always be full of other large stones. So I hadn't done that in this case, but I will. In the future. Do deposits respawn? They do every season. Mines are a little different, though. Okay, I have lots of iron now. So, deposits, plants, thatch, stuff like that, will respawn every season unless you build on top of it, like pave it over, etc. Making it really easy to rely upon gathering if that's what you want to do. Oh my god, I'm looking at the furnace, not the ground. So we'll try for 8 this run. I'm already got it up to temp with 80% fuel left. This should be no problem. So may I assume, chat, that once I get the Longhouse up, you guys are going to want a bit of a population explosion? My hands are busy right now, so I can't pull you for that, but may I assume that that's your aim? To add militia, add workforce, add etc, etc, etc? You know, I probably could have gone for 9. Eh, 8 seems safe. Only to 14 pop? Fair, not unreasonable. Res my original dude. It would be nice to have that archer back. So here I'm planning on making the pickaxe head, and then maybe a bunch of nails, because we're gonna just constantly have projects that need nails. So until you have a lot of your upgraded buildings, nails are just a commonplace thing to require. Although my hammer's about to break, so that's gonna suck. You know, maybe I'm gonna do a plate instead. So we have the prerequisites for another helmet, minus the nails, the 6 nails required. So at some point, we're gonna want to get our militia numbers up to like 2. One of the advantages of having 2 is if you put them on patrol, one could be day patrol, one could be night patrol, so that they overlap. And you have the benefit, depending, you know, regardless of the time of day. Alright, let's go find Bryzit and give him his new pick. Here, you can have my used one. But still, big upgrade. So I'll probably end up helping with the needed beams, because I'll likely be able to carpenter them faster than the NPCs can. Or have been. That's not where I meant to put that. But the first thing I want to build with this is the long storage. To set up the long storage to make sure that I have a place for beams and shafts and keep them separate. I'm so close to having a high enough carpentry that I can single swipe every time, which allows you to crank out carpentry materials very quickly. Come on, hammer, just break. Damn it, didn't break. So, yes, this is just for beams. Okay, that's fine. I think if we wanted it for shafts as well, it's small carpentry materials. So I'll set one up opposite. That way we stockpile every type of carpentry material. So that when I'm not actively working on carpentry tasks, we're still building a huge supply of carpentry stuff so that next time I have a carpentry task, you know, we can just drop from the stockpile and get it done instantly. So there we go. We have stockpiles for everything. Alright. Beams and posts. Let's do the post first. Meat Gamer, thank you for the resub. When you set up barracks and patrols, as long as the area patrol covered the buildings, they didn't get the unsafe buff? So you don't think they needed overlap? So the reason I say for overlap is more for like village defense, so that you have someone ready to respond to threats. Because up until this point, anytime our village is attacked, I've needed to be, like, the one to handle it. And it's really nice to have NPCs to manage that for you when you start to get militia. So that way I can be away from the base doing something else and I don't have to be physically present in order to keep everyone defended. So where did I put my cart? Having a brain fart. How about we just keep the cart highlighted at all times, so that I don't have to figure that out anymore. Seems to be the smart thing to do. I love how you can just pin anything. because I'm an airhead and forget where I put things, like, as if it's my job. So, being able to just be like, alright, cart, always on my compass, because I'm an idiot. And the game's like, oh, okay, so you're an idiot. Here's your cart. It's like, thanks, game. I know. I am forgetful. What I really wish is that there was a runestone that you could use to, like, level up crafting. That's the one thing that this game is missing that I would love to take advantage of. It'd also be nice if, kind of like how in, like, Dwarf Fortress or something, you can put multiple production benches within one facility. I think that would... Having another carpenter horse, or like, Sengoku Dynasty had that same concept, the Japanese village builder, where you could have, like, 2 carpentry horses within one carpenter, or, like, 2 of the wood carving, you know, and that way you could fit more things in a tight area, and I wish you could do that here. It's not absolutely necessary, but one carpentry building tends, I feel, to not be enough. Maybe at some point we'll end up getting a third hut and put a dye maker and a second carpenter there. But it would have to probably be pretty close to our woodcutting hut to benefit from proximity. Because we've got the warehouse, the carpenter, and the woodcutter all next to one another to reduce lag time for carpentry because of how demanding it is. Five of 12 beams. Curious to see if Bryzet actually manages to get some large stone. I could, of course, take the cart down to the mines and do the work for him, but I did go to the effort of making him a pick, so hopefully he uses it well. I think what I'm going to do now that the carpenter's up is deliver these materials myself, because otherwise the builders in the colony are going to, like, start pulling stuff off this cart, which makes no sense whatsoever. In fact, it might even make sense to have 2 carts, so that I can have, like, one that I'm stockpiling and one that they're pulling from or something. But for now, I'll just go after 1 cart. Thank you for tuning in to ASKA, which originally streamed live on Twitch. If you have any feedback or questions for me, let me know in the comments below. If you would like to catch a live stream of mine, Rhadamant.com has my stream schedule and countdown timers to upcoming streams. If you would like to join my online gaming community on Discord, Rhadamant.com has a link to it, as does the description of this video. Thank you so very much for watching. Special thank you to my Twitch subscribers, Patreon patrons, and viewers like you that support the channel and made it all the way to the credits. Thank you so very much. I hope to catch you next episode or an upcoming stream. Farewell, my fellow villagers and warriors.